We always do a list for the holidays. Brandon and I, once upon a time, did our best side dishes for Thanksgiving. My list was better, of course.
Classic.
We've done our favorite desserts. We did our favorite
Food
songs.
theme.
I think we did our favorite Christmas movies. But I figured in the spirit of 2020 being such an awful year, we should do the top 5 Christmas villains. Now, we also know I happen to love villains. I think they're the most important part of the story. If you want a strong story, you got to have a strong protagonist and a strong antagonist to create a good storyline. Sometimes the antagonists are theoretical. We're not going to get too crazy on everybody because I've used a lot of big words in a very short amount of time. So let's get to the top 5 Christmas villains. I'm going to count down 5 to 1 in traditional countdown fashion. Number 5, Ricky Smiley from Friday After Next.
A classic character who, if you are listening to this podcast or watching us by the fire here, you have to see Friday. You don't have to have seen Friday or Next Friday. Friday After Next. Pop it on during the holidays. Guaranteed for laugh. Do you like Cat Williams? Do you like Terry Crews? Do you like Mike Epps? Do you like Ice Cube? Do you like Pinky? You have to have seen the first two, or Next Friday. I don't know who Pinky is, but Pinky's in it too. It is wonderful.
It is. You're right. You're totally right. It's a standalone film. You don't need to see the prequels to understand what's going on. It's a great movie. I actually might watch it tonight after NBA is over. NBA season's back.
Oof.
We didn't really have a lot of time to miss it, but it is back and I'm excited. And I might watch this after like a long sports weekends. I like to de-sportsize with I watched Love Actually last night and cried like a loser.
I think everyone cries at Love Actually.
I know, but it's it's not a good movie to watch alone. I'll tell you that much. It's kind of like that's not for me. All this stuff that's happening in this TV is not for me, especially in quarantine. But Friday After Next would be a good watch. I also watched Santa Claus 2, which is underrated. All right, number 4, another movie I watched this weekend, as I'm binging Christmas movies, is one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, considered by many to be the greatest Christmas movie of all time. I would disagree, but it is up there. And that is A Christmas Story, and Scott Farkus is number 4 on the Christmas movie villain list. Scott Farkus, if you remember, is the yellow-eyed, weird bully kid that eventually gets his ass beat in true bully fashion by Ralphie, but Scott Farkus is a good, solid villain.
So I clearly didn't prep for this. I just looked up who Scott Farkus is. This feels like an anti-ginger take. As a half ginger, let me just say that this take feels like it's a direct attack on my freckles. But he does have the Davy Crockett hat, so he's looking pretty sketch.
He is sketch, and he's bad. Like, you can tell he's just a bad kid who needs his ass beat. And Ralphie beats his ass, and his mom vouches for him like a good mom should. When you beat up the bully, you don't tell your father, you don't tell the disciplinarian in the house, because you know what, if you get your ass beat you as a child, you act different as an adult. I firmly believe that. I stand by that take. Like, if you know at any point it is a possibility that you have hands put on you, you behave differently around other people.
Yeah. Just knowing that there's your parents are like other human beings, that they have a switch that if flipped, you don't want to see
not
what
even parents.
change
Like,
light is.
It's
important,
I think. In the neighborhood and you said the wrong thing to the wrong person, and then you find out, I can't just behave however I want to around anybody that I want to behave like that around. It changes you. So Scott Farkus is number 4. Number 3, a classic villain, an anti-hero, if you might, but we'll put him on the villain list because he's very mean, and in a time like this would be definitely considered to be one of the worst villains of all time.
Yep.
That is Scrooge. Scrooge was an awful, greedy man, and he had his heart changed in the very end. But for most of the story, he was awful, and he is number 3. And he's like an OG villain. It's like a book villain.
I mean, he's such a villain that he needed ghosts to push him in the right direction.
Yeah. Yes. He needed spirits from the beyond to get him right.
Right. Also, real quick before we move on from Scrooge, his first name's Ebenezer, right?
Yes,
I believe it's Ebenezer Scrooge. Doesn't Ebenezer sound like a dope hipster name?
It's definitely, there are definitely hipsters walking this earth with the name Ebenezer. Yes, and really, if you name your child Ebenezer, are you giving them a choice in life to be anything but a hipster?
You either got to be a hipster or a Scrooge if your name is Ebenezer, for sure.
You've got two options in life. All right, number 2 on the all-time villain list is everyone's in everyone's top 5 for Christmas movies, which is Home Alone.
Has to be.
The Wet Bandits, number 2.
Pure comedy, pure physical comedy. What they endured for our laughs, thank you.
And you know what? They kind of gave you this idea as a kid, which is a terrible idea, that you would be able to outwit 2 adults who are trying to murder you with like a TV and some string and stuff.
Yep. Totally.
And like, where did they find a tarantula? Why do you have a tarantula? Just like people just let their kids have tarantulas? Like that's a thing?
Cool. Yeah, kids named Ebenezer have tarantulas.
There was no Ebenezer in Home Alone. But they were rich, I guess. The Wet Bandits is definitely like when you close your eyes and think of Christmas villains, Wet Bandits immediately.
There they are.
I was gonna pull a move and slide Trump from Home Alone 2 in the villain list, but he doesn't come to mind immediately. He's definitely in the top. He's definitely in the top 20.
What?
For sure.
What a callback. He'd honestly be stoked that you remembered he was in the movie, so let's be honest.
I might be giving out fake news right now, but that's a thing in 2020. Actually, for the past 4 years. I believe I read somewhere he like forced his way into that movie or paid his way into the movie. I don't know.
I don't need proof to believe that.
Yeah,
Continue.
I mean, of course not. But listen, we're like a little less than a month. We're a little less than a month away from never having to say his name again.
I'm fine. It's fine. We're fine. I'm fine.
Geraldo said it's over. So there's one more.
We're good. Thanks, Geraldo.
All right, number 1 on the top 5 Christmas villains list is none other than everyone's favorite green guy, the Grinch.
Absolutely, shouts to Jim Carrey.
Again, probably another anti-hero because he does flip in the end. But you know, with all good villains, they have redeemable qualities. That's kind of what makes them good villains. If you're just pure evil, no one can really relate to you. You know, so you got to have something about you that's like, you know what, I sort of understand why they're like that. And the Grinch was bullied because he was different and he was green and he was hideous. And he just became a grumpy, miserable person because other people picked on him. So it made sense.
That honestly, I got to ring at the doorbell. I think that's the Grinch, and he's here. So I'll get that in a second. But what I was gonna say was that sounds like the story of the Joker. Stop ringing.
Well, that sounds like it's a package, so you should probably go get it. Would you like to go get it?
Yeah, let me go get it.
Yeah.
A few minutes later.
It was the Grinch. He brought me a lump of coal. That's what Santa does. Or no, that's what Santa doesn't do that.
Santa brings you coal.
I don't know.
If you're on the naughty list. You're right. The Grinch is similar to the Joker, except for the Grinch doesn't then go murder everyone.
Right, but you said earlier that every villain has like a redeemable quality.
Right, yeah.
And the Joker's redeemable quality is obviously dope makeup and dancing. So that's pretty cool.
I think that the Joker's redeemable quality is that he's an outcast who gets picked on and people can relate to that. But yes, awesome dancer and interesting makeup. The Grinch is number 1 on the top 5 Christmas villains. Amazing movie, unbelievable performance by Jim Carrey. Also an OG character, because remember there's the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Also a book. There's been several Grinch movies since then. None as good as Jim Carrey's performance, but that movie's like kind of old now too. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's wild.
And the Grinch is a really unique. I guess I didn't put. I mean, it's a book.
Yeah.
And it's also a movie, and it's also Christmas. That's not true of very many things, I don't think.
Some, but yes, he is the best. He's the best villain. I don't want to say most relatable. Yeah, probably most relatable. Most relatable. It's understandable how people could get tired of like the Christmas frantic spending money, and it has a good message. The Grinch story.
Donnie, if you don't turn Joy green right now in this video, I don't know what we're doing.
Max, get my cloak.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.